Hello. I'm sorry to say there is a problem with the I Ching. First of all, it's so important for me to say that this book is possibly the most important book in my life, and I've read lots of books. I've been reading and consulting this, especially the famous Wilhelm edition with the foreword by C.J. Jung, for 20 years or so. I've read it countless times. You know what? I've read it as a book. I've read it from cover to cover maybe 5 times. I don't know many other people who have done that. I've consulted it hundreds of times, normally with the coins. So if you don't know about the I Ching, or you only know the basics, what we have is this amazing book. This book is 5,000 years old. However, the main edition in the Western world was a German missionary called Richard Wilhelm, who lived in China before the revolution. I think before World War One even. And he put together with experts this incredible translation. And the thing that makes it so amazing is it has Carl Jung, who we'll talk a lot more about Carl Jung. What an amazing person! He wrote the foreword to it. And what we do is it's like if you know tarot cards, it's an oracle. The I Ching is lots of things. The main use is as an oracle. So what happens is I form a problem. I form a question. I have a problem in my life. It could be I have a problem in work. I have a problem in my personal relationships. I'm thinking of quitting my job. What do you think I should do? Or, should I quit my job? Will that be successful if I quit my job? You make the question. You form the question. It's very important to be centralized, to meditate, to keep the question in your mind. And then what most people do is they have 3 coins. Here, I live in Spain, ole. So, y en realidad vamos a tener más videos en español y inglés. Pues yo puedo hablar en los dos, español y inglés. But I'm very English. Anyway, here we have 3 euro coins from Spain. What most people do is you form the question, you shake the coins, and here you have one head and 2 tails. And heads have 1 score, tails have another score. 3 and 2. You make the hexagram. You make the lines. You have this concept called changing lines, which makes it even more complicated because some lines you need to read twice as a straight line and as a broken line. So the straight line is the creative and the broken line is the receptive. You make change lines. You form a hexagram. Then that takes a while. Then we go to the book. And what do we have? We have the first part is called the text. Now that gives us pretty good explanations. Imagine we form conflict, 6 conflict. I go here, I read it. I look at the changing lines and I particularly focus on the changing lines. Imagine 6 and also that changes into 13, so I need to read 6, I need to read 13. But also what we have is we have the commentaries, which is something that I actually use more than the text. The commentaries is deeper, more profound explanations. So we have to look again and again and again. I believe that to examine a hexagram properly using this outdated model takes like 40 minutes. I love the I Ching. It encapsulates incredible amounts of wisdom, but this just takes too long. On the other hand, if we use a mobile phone app, there's lots of good apps these days, I Ching apps, blah 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 blah. It's too quick. It loses the magic. There's something missing. There's something missing, in my opinion, if you just use the I Ching apps on phones. So welcome to my concept for the Fresh I Ching Tao Rebooted. What I have been working on is a middle way, a method whereby we can get the magic because I don't know who I'm speaking to exactly, but the I Ching is magical. There's time and time and time and time again that it's not possible that it's random, that it gives these incredibly accurate answers to my problems. You know, it's literally you ask a question and you get an answer which is like, oh my goodness, how is that possible? That is the perfect answer that encapsulates exactly the problem that you're going through exactly at that moment. So there has to be a way where we can use both, where we can get the magic of the I Ching and a little bit quicker. Now, another book that obviously hugely appeals to me is this, the Tao Te Ching from Lao Tzu. Now, this was my actual first um, welcome to the world of Taoism, Chinese Taoism. I've I don't know which book have I read most times. This book I've read thousands of times. This book I've read hundreds of times. Now, this book, in my opinion, this is by far and away the best translation as well. Translated by Stephen Addis and Stanley Lombardo. Introduction by Burton Watson. This is incredible. I've read it just time and time and time again. You know why? Because it's short. It's perfect. So it's like, couldn't we take the amazing stuff in the I Ching and combine it with the clean slickness of Lao Tzu? And that's why I'm developing a concept called the Fresh I Ching Tao Rebooted. Now, in this video is just for me to talk about some problems inherent in the normal Wilhelm edition of the I Ching, the traditional edition of the I Ching. And in the next video, I will go into my concept a little bit more, but I'm trying to develop a more clean, easy to use type of I Ching that does not lose the magic. So it's like the middle way, called the Fresh I Ching Tao Rebooted. In reality, I also am working on two other concepts with the I Ching as well. Number one, the I Ching and narrative structure, because I've seen something amazing by reading so much Joseph Campbell, The Hero's Journey. Um, I'm a big, huge fan of literature, and when I read books and when I read the I Ching in the 64 hexagrams, and we see words like the creative, difficulty at the beginning, youthful folly, conflict, standstill, approach, splitting apart, the abysmal, opposition, deliverance, decrease, increase, breakthrough, gathering together, revolution, abundance, the wanderer, after completion, before completion. Something flips in my brain and I'm like, how the hey is this possible that a 5,000-year-old Chinese text so closely mirrors Joseph Campbell's um, analysis of myth and literature and narrative to get the pattern that every good, effective story really has a similar pattern, the ones that really touch you. And what I've seen is an incredible similarity in the I Ching 64 hexagrams. That's part two. So we have the Fresh I Ching part one, part two, I Ching and narrative structure, and then part three is I've always thought that maybe I'm really interested in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, which we can talk about in the future. So I see a way of using similarities of cognitive behavioral therapy and the I Ching principles, some inherent principles involved in this incredible book and this incredible book, and all some other amazing books like Chuang Tzu, for example. And I believe that there is a way to take out the wisdom and to use that wisdom as cognitive behavioral therapy to analyze and change our thoughts. So, in conclusion, this has been a first video for my new channel called the Fresh I Ching Tao Rebooted. And it's just to talk about some of the problems inherent in this incredible book, which I cannot describe how much I love this book, how much I love Wilhelm and Jung, but I think that it can be improved or changed. So please comment, what do you think? Do you think it takes too long? How do you form hexagrams? What other experiences have you had? And also to talk about I Ching and narrative structure, and or Tao and narrative structure, and also Tao, I Ching, and therapy or psychological problems. So thank you very much. My name's been Daniel. My name is Daniel. My name was Daniel. My name will be continue to be Daniel. Here's my coins. Voy también a grabar un video en español ahora mismo para ver en otro idiomas. And have a great day wherever you are. Great night, great day. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon.